Louay Safi, member of the opposition Syrian National Council, with us in the studio. Your group has decided to give what's been described as support in particular ways, money and equipment to those fighting on the ground. What do you mean to do?
Well, I mean, the Free Syrian Army is part of the solution. The regime is determined not to have any political solution, but to continue with its own security approach to the whole issue. So we would like to support the Free Syrian Army, which is made of defectors. But that will not change the nature of the revolution at this point.
But you're going to give them money and equipment. This is to help them fight.
To defend, defensive equipment. We would like them to defend the civilians. The regime and the security forces in Syria, rather than defending the civilians, they are attacking them. So we have to find a solution to keep the civilians away as much as possible from the harm caused by the regime.
But you would expect them, with this money and equipment, to be able to intensify their battles, presumably?
You absolutely would like them to be able to keep the security forces of the regime away from the protesters and from the civilians who have been punished because they are supporting change in Syria.
Louay, listen to what Zaina's had to say in her first answer. I'm going to go back to her now. Zaina Hoda in Beirut, Louay Safi there saying that yes, they are going to be giving support to the rebels, the Free Syrian Army, in its fight to defend the people. But is your feeling that they are now going to take the fight to the Syrian regime itself?
Well, we have to understand that the Syrian National Council really did not throw their political weight behind the Free Syrian Army at the beginning. And there was a lot of frustration in the street, really, in Syria among the opposition. They believed that the SNC really should have supported the FSA from the beginning. And it was only recently that the SNC actually met the FSA in Turkey and agreed to create some sort of liaison office with that group. So this is gaining popularity among the street, among the activists who believe the SNC should have done this from the beginning. And the very fact, this is going to raise a lot of questions. Yes, defensive equipment, yes, it is justifiable for people to take up arms to protect themselves. But really the question is, we are hearing more and more about fierce clashes between the Free Syrian Army and security forces. Most of the deaths now are not people who are protesting in the streets, but casualties resulting from confrontations.
Zaina, thank you very much indeed. Louay Safi is still with us here. One of the things your group has also said is that you've got military experts working with you now who will be in touch with members of the Free Syrian Army to help them come together in a more coordinated way. What will that do?
Well, I mean, these experts are former military personnel of the Syrian Army who are retired, who have the expertise, who have some ideas about forming a free zone or protected zone within the country, so it would allow provide protection for civilians and will put the security forces away from population centers.
Is the political process going nowhere at the moment?
Absolutely, yes. We are going nowhere. In fact, we tried many times to negotiate transition to democracy with the regime, but they are just playing games and thinking they can, oversmart other people.
Got any faith in the United Nations, or what else is happening?
I think we expect at this point that the United Nations will pick up exactly the same plan put together by the Arab League and give it more teeth.
Is that any use to you?
Well, we feel that if we have observers inside Syria, they would help shield the civilians from the atrocities committed by the regime.
Okay, Louay Safi, thank you very much indeed.
Sure.